Okay, we are streaming in Xplane again. And overnight, once again, Xplane has updated itself to public beta number 15. Sorry, just had a little feedback in the background there. I've resolved that problem. So we're going to take off today from Samos, where we landed yesterday. Let's get rid of that little browser interface and zoom in where we are. We've actually got an aircraft coming in on finals from the left by the looks of it at the moment, so maybe we'll catch him landing in a second. Taking off from Samos, a Greek island just off the Turkish coast. We're flying pretty much due south, a couple of islands, across the water to Leros, which is here. That's the airfield at Leros. Just while we talk about setup, let's just see if we can see this aircraft on finals. There he is over there. We'll just zoom in a bit. You can see the landing line up here, top left-hand corner of the screen. That's AI just on his way in. We'll see if we can catch his landing. Now, I've also re-enabled SkymaxxPro. I wasn't particularly happy with the default clouds that we had yesterday with the public beta 14. They were causing too much of a frame rate hit. Here he comes. You can hear him now too. Thud. Oh, jeez. AI's worse at landing than I am. So, in the cockpit, it's a little bit quieter here. So I wasn't too happy with the frame rate hit from the clouds that I was getting from the public beta 14, and I think it's the same in public beta 15. So we're going to stick with SkymaxxPro clouds, and which is probably a good thing because it's raining today and it's quite cloudy. As you can see, the water just kicking up off his wheels there, his landing gear. Okay, he's got the same registration as me. What the? Right, so we are in cockpit and we'll consider getting ourselves set up here. I'll just try and make the view as good as possible for a sort of a startup sequence. That's a nice view there. And I'll bring up the checklist while that guy taxis around. Now, I'm also hoping that today the volume of this game is not so loud. Actually, I'm going to bring that down even further. It seems very loud. I may actually have to bring the Windows mixer volume down. To about there. Because I did find that it was quite loud yesterday. Anyway, we will get through some of our pre-start checks here. Just moving forward on my checklist. Okie dokie. Right, so first of all, we have done a outside check. That's been done before we got in. And passengers are secure. Seatbelts are all tucked away nicely. Brakes, we'll just check that they are working, both foot brakes, and turn the park brake on. Check the circuit breakers are all in and the electrical equipment is off. CBs are in, electrics are off, everything is off. Good, that's what we want to see, and that's what we've got. Confirming now that the avionics master is actually in the off position, which it is, and then we select the fuel selector to the both position. Fuel shut off is fully forward, and we're just making sure again that the avionics circuit breakers are fully in. Okay, right, now before we go any further, we'll stick the radios on and we'll get I may just get permission to start. I wonder if I need permission to start. I don't think you do actually. Just check the radio here. File a flight plan to Leros, which is, before I ran out of battery, Leros is Lima, Golf, Lima, Echo. Lima, Golf, Lima, Echo. We'll hit down at 3,500, 3,000 feet actually, because we don't need to worry about altitude.
November 172
Sierra,
Lima
5,
Bravo
5.
Juliet altimeter 2955.
And we are set to 2955. That's fine.
Lima Tango Bravo Juliet altimeter 2955 November 172 Sierra Papa.
Okay, good. Now we're just going to turn the avionics back off now that we've filed a flight plan. And we've set up the altimeter. Good. Okay, right. So throttle open to 1/4. About there. Mixture to the idle cutoff position fully back. Check the prop is clear, which it is. Master switch is on. Starts boosting up the other way. And we'll get the flashing beacon on. Auxiliary fuel pump switch on. Mixture full rich until we get fuel flow. We have fuel flow. Mixture back to the idle cutoff position. Fuel pump off. Right engine's primed. Ignition switch to the start, and then we pull the mixture up. Checking the brakes are on, which they are. And we need to set for 1000 RPM. We're almost there. Oil pressure check. 75 psi, 75 temp, and the pressure is bang in the middle of the green. So we're fine. The oil will just slowly warm up. And then we'll lean for taxi in a moment. Just a little bit leaner. Oh, another aircraft over there. Okie dokie, we're ready to taxi. I'll be putting my call in a second. We'll just check that the flaps are up, go through the after start checks. Avionics now needs to be on. Radios both showing as on. We've obtained the ATIS, we've set the altimeter to 2955. We now need to just hit, yes, we need to set our heading indicator. That is lined up, and we're probably going to end up taking a heading of about 180 once we're airborne. So I will just move the heading around to the 180 position. Actually, I will go for 190, but then we'll be able to adjust it once we hear back from control. Navigation lights are, transponder we'll put to standby, and we'll wait for our transponder code. Lights as needed. Taxi light. Nav light. Landing light and strobe light are off. It's 11 degrees outside. No need for the pitot heat. We'll just quickly test the brakes. Off comes the... Yes, that's all working. And we'll just hold that on for the moment until we get clearance to go. Okay, we should be able to apply for clearance to taxi now. So let's put in the radio call. Ah, that's interesting. The flight plan did not file. That's okay though, because we can do that now. Lima Golf Lima Echo, I think, was our destination. Lima Golf Lima Echo. It is Lima Golf Lima Echo at 3,000 feet. Ah. Now we request clearance.
November 172
4703.
Papa. Cleared IFR to Lima Golf Lima Echo as filed. Maintain 3000. Squawk 4703.
Okay, so we need to maintain 3,000, which is fine, which is what we wanted.
Cleared IFR to Lima Golf Lima Echo as filed.
There's a lot of aircraft moving about here today.
4703 November
And
172 Sierra Papa.
And it looks like they're using a taxi down this runway. Oh, wow.
X-ray Papa. Contact center on 135.905.
Contact center on 135.905.
Right, we're going to request taxi in just a second.
Papa.
One thing I don't think the game actually is changing volume when I turn this down. I don't think the game volume's working. It's not. That's why I had so much trouble yesterday with the volume. So I'm going to use the Windows mixer to adjust the volume. That's interesting. The in-game volume slider does not appear to be working. Let's request taxi. Runway 27, taxi via Charlie 09. That's Charlie 09 there, and then we're to hold short. Fine.
Runway 27, taxi via Charlie, Niner, hold short of 27, November, 172, Sierra, Papa.
Okay, so we're basically ready now to set up to taxi over. We're going to hold short of the runway. So we can now turn the park back off and get our taxiing done. Okay. Hold short of... Oh, it's a bit windy out there today. Actually quite stormy conditions. The
November 01 X-ray Papa. Cleared IFR to Lima Tango Bravo India as filed. Maintain 11,000. Squawk 470.
the weather setup at the start actually said that it was stormy.
Lima, Tango, Bravo, India as filed. Maintain 11,000. Squawk 470.
Hold short of 27. Let me just quickly check that we are going to be holding short of 27.
November 01 X-ray Papa. Runway 27. Taxi via Charlie Niner.
Okay, there's a chap down the end there. I need to wait for him to get airborne.
Runway 27, taxi via Charlie, Niner, hold short of 27, November, 01
There he is down there.
X-ray, Papa.
I want him to get airborne. What the heck is he doing? Bloody hell. I don't know what that guy's up to, but I do not want to be a part of it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, well, I'm going to taxi out here. That was mad. Okay, well, he is actually getting airborne now, so... Oof. Okay, so we're going to hold short of 27. We're going to taxi down 27 and then hold short of 27, which is...
November 172 Sierra Papa. Fly heading 270. Runway 27. Clear for takeoff.
Okay, so our takeoff heading is 270. So I'm just going to move my heading indicator around to that. We've still got to taxi down this runway, and I know what happens if you don't follow these guys' instructions to the T. In Xplane 11, they do tend to... Wow, the crosswind is blowing this aircraft around.
November 172 Sierra Papa. Fly heading 270. Runway 27. Clear for takeoff.
Heading 270, runway 27, cleared for takeoff, November, 172 Sierra,
Now,
Papa.
if I just turn around now and get airborne straight down this runway,
November 02
they'll tell me that I'm in breach of air traffic control instructions.
Contact center
I've had this before.
135.95,
So despite being cleared for takeoff already,
02 X-ray, Papa.
I still have to taxi all the way down to the threshold here, and then I have to take off from the threshold. And even then, I still might get an instruction telling me I'm in breach of air traffic control. Wow, the aircraft's really slopping around here. Really, really badly. I take my foot, I've got a lot of right brake on here. If I take my foot off the, you can see my rudder pedals, how much right I've got in. If I take my foot off that right rudder pedal, this aircraft will just slide off to the left. Okay, now we're going to turn into wind. Well, it's a bit of a crosswind here, so we're not really turning into wind. You'll see the, oof! Wow. Okay, you'll see the, blimey, I might have to, the windsock over there. It's a very strong crosswind. Bloody hell, that's the best I can do. Right, we'll do our run-up checks quickly. Seats, everything's locked away. Doors are locked. Flight controls are free, and yeah, that is actually working. Just checking my control surfaces are actually working. Yep, free. Yep, very good, thank you. Instruments, check. All my instruments appear to be on. Ball is centered. Artificial horizon's working. Everything else is working. My altimeter is set to 29. Was it 2955 or 2995? See, now I'm confused. Was it 2995 or 2955? Should have written it down, but I didn't. Mixture full rich. Fuel selector valve, just check, confirming yes. Now we're going to set for 1800 RPM and do our magneto check. Okay, there's 1800, left magneto. There's my drop. Well, that's not even 1800. What am I doing? It was like 1300. Right magneto. There's my drop. Don't want to fit around with this too long. Okay, and now I check the idle position. And yep, the volt sign comes on 1000 RPM. Set radios. We are on tower. We have clearance for takeoff. Nav is set. Autopilot is off. Okay, strobe and landing light on. Elevator is trimmed for takeoff, a little bit of up. Let's release the park brake and then we'll get ourselves airborne. I'm going to do a short takeoff with a tiny bit of flat. Okay. Oh, as soon as I take the brake off, that nose just gets dragged around to the right. Come on, now I can see why the AI was having so much trouble. Let's go, let's go. Almost full left rudder on here for this. And I'm being very gentle with my... Oh, there's the arrows telling me I'm supposed to go backwards, you see? Which I couldn't see them before. They don't show up very well at all against the ground textures.
November 172 Sierra Papa. Fly heading 270. Runway 27. Clear for takeoff.
Heading 270. Runway 27.
Okay, we're airborne.
November 172 Sierra Papa.
I'll bring that flap up. We're going to fly on 270, which is our current heading.
Sierra Papa. Cross runway 27.
See, now it's telling me to cross runway 2. I'm already airborne. And air traffic control now are telling me to cross runway 27 and hold short there. See? It's just really impossible. The traffic control system, LGSE, at 3000 in Xplane is an absolute nightmare. It really is. Which is why I should be using IVAO. But
01 X-ray Papa. Fly heading 270.
Anyway, we're airborne now.
Clear for takeoff.
Heading 270. Runway 2.
Oh, that wind is really kicking me about.
01 X-ray Papa.
Okay. Taxi light off now, landing light off. Still on full stink here. Check oil pressure, retract flaps are up. Yes, we've got pressure, we've got low fuel flow, but it's okay. It's got fuel flow. If I turn the pump on, then I'll get a whole lot more. Aircraft's bobbling around with the wind conditions. But we'll soon solve that problem once we get up a bit more altitude. I can afford to climb a bit steeper, but not too much steeper. Where is my flight plan? Okay. Lima Golf Lima Echo. That's why. ATC has cancelled all guidance for me. LGLE at 3000.
03 X-ray Papa. Descend and maintain flight level 350.
Down to flight level 350. November 03 X-ray Papa.
Okay, so we're not going to be getting any control now. They're refusing to help me out because I couldn't follow their ridiculous taxi instructions. So once I get over this little bit of a hump here, we're going to turn left onto about 180. We'll go for 180. So time to change my heading indicator down to 180. And I may turn these stupid radios off. What I'll try and do is try and bring the sound back on the radios. It's right down here. Very strange how the sound is no longer working in Xplane 11 for me. None of the sound controls. So that's really annoying, actually. If anyone else has had that, I'd be interested to know. I may have to file a bug report. Okay, let's turn left now. We're above this blob here. I'm going to throttle back a bit too, because we have been running hot RPM since we got airborne. And once we get onto 180, we'll engage the autopilot and we'll cruise down. Wow. Just notice my airspeed just go through the floor for a second there. Just make sure I'm clearing this hill. I don't want to crash into it. You can see the rain now. We've got quite a heavy, well, moderately heavy amount of rain coming through. A few breaks in the clouds up there, but it is a pretty rough day. Let's just have a quick look at our frame rate. 45 frames per second. Perfect. SkymaxxPro, thank you very much. Your clouds are brilliant. Wow, aircraft's getting kicked around here by the conditions. Let's try and roll out on 180. Come left a fraction more. And I'm going to hold 2200 RPM. That should be about 180. It's close enough because we don't want exactly anyway. Oh, those radios. I think I'm going to have to turn those radios off, to be honest. Okay, let's engage the autopilot now. And we'll go with heading and altitude. There we are. Aircraft's kicking itself back around. Oh, I really want to turn these radios off. Ugh. Now let's see if I can get Lima Golf Lima Echo at 3000. Let's see if I can get that in now. Right, so I'm letting the aircraft sort of fly itself here. It is on the autopilot and it's struggling. You can see it's kicking all around because of the wind. The wings are going up and down 5 degrees. Heading's changing about, but as long as we stay up at about this altitude, then I've got plenty of height to arrest anything that goes wrong, provided I keep my wits about me. I may have just solved my problem with the comms. I don't really like how noisy these radios are. I don't think there's a volume. No, that's not manipulable. Aha. What is off? I've just turned it to the left, around to the left. And that's changing the channel. It's not what I want. Volume. That can't be done. That can't be changed. So these ones can't be altered. I've tried to turn the pilot volume down there, but I think that might just be the beeping from the navigation radio. I don't actually think we can change the comms radio's volume physically. Let's just have a quick look here. No. Doesn't look like it, which is a shame because I'd really love to just be able to turn the volume right down on the instrument itself rather than having to rely on the simulator's panel. But never mind, we're there. Still looking at this weather. The rain coming in here. Aircraft is still knocking about in these conditions, but we are holding close to this 180 or 185-ish. Or is it actually 187 according to the that navigation tool there? The Xplane 530. So I'll just shove the yoke back in. I was going to fly this yesterday. There's an island up ahead. Don't know if it's our island. I was going to fly this yesterday. A second, now we need to come left. We need to change course onto 175 or 170 because we're heading out into the ocean a bit. So let's just move this back. We'll go with with about 170. I think actually is a good heading. Aircraft's now turning left. Still on, we're up to 2300 RPM here. Airspeed's good though, and T's and P's all look fine. Nav strobe, beacons on. Everything there looks good. Just doing a few checks just to make sure everything is happy. Now, above 3000 you can lean the mixture, but I'm not going to because we're at 4. I'm not too happy about running a lean mixture. I'll just lean a little bit. I mean, I don't need to save fuel. There's really no need because I've got plenty and it's not costing me anything. Fuel's on the house. Nice set of islands coming up here. What we can do is we can have a look at quickly changing the... Actually, no, it might stuff it up if I try to change the... I'm tempted to change the clouds or the configuration of SkymaxxPro on the fly here. See what sort of difference we get. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. It's too much of a risk, I think, to change these plugin settings mid-flight. We could change the sky. Can I change just Tropical Paradise? What happens if I do that? Changing the sky textures. Oh, enable cloud reflections. I want those. Cloud reflections on the water. Okay, I've just changed the sky tone slightly. It doesn't appear to have made a difference. And now we can see cloud shadows on the water too. You can see some, I don't know actually, they may not show in the stream, but there's some light patches here where the sun is coming through the cloud, but most of the sea is now in sort of a mild shadow. And you can see now some variation in the color on the water. That's a lot better. Just checking to make sure our frames are still good. We're now getting about 40 frames, just under 40 frames per second, which is fine. Much better than we were getting in PB14 without SkymaxxPro. With SkymaxxPro, it's a lot better. Do like it. Should be a salesperson. They should be paying me for this. Mind you, no one really watches my channel anyway, so... a few people do. A few rigs. Let's have a look at these islands in some more detail, shall we? It's interesting it's still raining here. But it looks like there's... I don't know if it's just that that's as far as it's projecting the cloud visually. But it looks like the cloud stops about 10-15 miles away. And then after that, the skies are clear. So we may pop out of this cloud into clear skies. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what happens. That could be Samos in the distance there. Or further back over there. Not entirely sure. Right, we've got about 1 and a bit hours flying time A full tank is about 7 hours actually in this, according to the setup screen. 7 hours or 6.5 hours on cruise. I take each quarter tank as basically a 1 hour. In fact, it's in fifths, strangely. So you go for about 1 hour per marker. So we've got an hour and a bit left there. And our airfield is about 10 to 15 minutes flying time away. So we are absolutely tickety-boo here for our approach in. Couple of sailing boats out down there. Not a great day for sailing. Oh, probably good wind today. Excellent wind. But with all this rain, don't suppose it's ideal. This is only maybe the second flight that we've actually had to do in rain of the series. 30 flights in. We hardly ever actually fly in rain. I'm just zooming in on the wing strut here because, well, I'm focusing on the wing strut here because I think you'll see the rain in the stream. Oh, it stopped. Oh, and it's starting again. Patchy rain. It's quite nice. It doesn't appear to affect the windshield though. There's no moisture effect on the glass. It's all just completely clear. That's one thing I would like to see modelled, is a bit of moisture effect on the glass. That's the island of Samos, I believe, where my cursor is. And our airfield is in there, in that bay. And it goes right to left. So our airfield's basically there where my cursor is, in that bay somewhere. Let's see if we can get eyes on. I'll just zoom. Yes, there it is. There's a threshold there too. And air traffic control have already told me they don't want to deal with me anymore today. Annoyingly. So we'll be setting up for a landing in about 3 or 4 minutes. As the sun pops out, we get some nice shadows. They haven't really fixed those shadows though. No change there. There's quite some discussions on the Xplane forum when PB14 came out yesterday. Some very harsh reactions. Justified, I'm sure. But it's made some interesting reading. I won't put a link in the description. Oh, maybe I will, if I remember. But then PB15's already been released today, which was a fix to something they had broken with PB14, the aircraft or airplane creator or aircraft factory, I don't know what it's called. It's a function that I don't use of Xplane. I think it's a tool for building aircraft to add into the game. Right, I'm going to descend by 1,000 feet here, so we're going to take off the autopilot. Notice the wind conditions have settled down. We are no longer in that really quite bumpy wind that we had. When we got airborne. It was quite noticeable. We may have a big crosswind here because this runway is not orientated terribly differently from the one we took off on. We had a big crosswind, 90 degrees to the runway actually. This could be a candidate for go-arounds today, if the conditions down there are as bad as they were when we got airborne. Okie dokie, let's think about setting up for landing. Right, seatbelt secure, fuel selected to both, yes. Mixture, full rich now. Instruments check, good. Avionics are fine. Nav is set to nav, yes. Aircraft lights will go with the... might as well turn the landing light on now, I think, actually, because we're not terribly far out. Okay, pitot heat as required. It is 5 degrees. Pitot heat is not required. Landing light, yes. Oh, seatbelts are secured. Flaps are fully up for the moment. Next year's full rich. We're below 3,000 feet. Now that's good. 3,000 me? Yeah, 3,000 feet. Yes. Autopilot's off. And we're going to turn in towards a normal approach of 60 to 70 knots in a moment. Airfield is at my 10 o'clock over there. And there is the threshold. There is an aircraft currently in the center of the field. Sitting there. This looks like a problem we've had before with very early versions of Xplane, when the AI aircraft would just park themselves. Oh, he is taxiing though. That's okay. He is actually taxiing. So he should be airborne by the time we get down there. So we will set up. And he is the only aircraft within QE. Go set for 1500 RPM here. We'll just let the nose rise a little. Actually, no, I'm going to go for about 1200 RPM and maintain this descent. Because I want to get lower. Because my natural tendency to go visual always puts me higher than I need to be. And it will just kick over to a small left turn. Just conscious of keeping an eye out for the wind conditions here. Hey, Iketiwashi. Yeah, all my flights are pretty short in this series. I try to keep them to less than an hour. Run out of things to talk about if we fly for more than that. So it's basically get airborne, fly to the next usable field along my track, and then set it down. I don't think any of my flights have been more than 45 minutes airborne time, and the longest video is only an hour and something. Okay, he is now taxiing over there. Now, if he's the windsock here is completely limp. I can see the windsock to the left of the threshold. I'm not sure if I'm landing on the active here, but to be honest, I don't mind. The windsock's there. We'll zoom in just for another quick look. Yeah, it's a very small crosswind left to right. Okay. Serious now. Landing lights on. We will get our first notch of flapping. Airspeed 80 knots. Coming back now. Second notch of flap. 70 knots. Third notch of flap. Right, we're all fully flapped down. Fully flapped down. Voll geflapped. And here we are on finals. Bit slow. Let's power on. So there's not many buildings at this airfield, none at all in fact. 60 now, that's a better approach speed. Yeah, there is a little bit of wind, but it's not really affecting me. I think the main problem here is actually me not being very good. 1500 RPM, okay. Chop that throttle and bring it back up. I wouldn't say this is a short field, not for a Cessna anyway, but it's shorter than the ones we've been landing at recently. Feels like we're very fast, although we're showing less than 60 knots indicated, so it's not that quick. Flare a little. Reduce the throttle. Back on. And we're down. And we've got aircraft doing all sorts. Oh, no, it's a car. There's a car at the end. There's an aircraft on the right. There's another Cessna over there. He's already parked up. Let's get the flaps up now. Flaps fully out. We'll get the taxi light on. And we'll turn the landing light off. Now that we're down. And we don't need it because we can see everything quite clearly. Fully flapped. Now fully unflapped. Full ungeflapped. Right, let's move over here. We'll park next to our little buddy. And then we'll... I wonder if I've got room to turn around here on the grass. Oh, it's a bumpy old bit of grass, this one. Oh, look, he's moving. He's going out again. He just landed and taxied over here, and now he's off again. Right, turn this aircraft in. Well, maybe we'll see this guy doing a takeoff roll. Let's put the handbrake on. We'll leave the engine running for the second, because we don't want to look down in case we miss. Here he is. Off he goes. He's up. He's up and away. Good on you, old fella. Right. Time we did some shutdown checks, I believe. Just exterior lights as required, which is pretty much none. We should have leaned it for the taxi. A little bit. But we'll shut it down. Okay. And we're all there. Where you can put the trim back in a position for the next person who uses the airplane, which is going to be me. Transponder onto standby. We never actually turned it on. I wonder why. I didn't do that. Didn't seem to come up in my list, but whatever. Okay, avionics master goes off. The panel lights can now all be turned off. CBs none have blown, which is good to see. Master switch can go off, and then the ignition goes off. Cabin air is closed. I don't actually know where the cabin air switch is, actually. Cabin air, cabin heat, cabin air on, pull to on. In fact, that can't be manipulated. There's no control there, so we don't have to worry about cabin air. And the hatch. Oh, we record the time when we landed, but we're not going to do that. Let's get out of the airplane. Can't actually walk out. Good. Well, there we go. Another flight complete. We are at Le something. Where the heck are we? Leros. Leros. I'm going to check now the landing. Actually, before I do that, I should close the door. Otherwise, it'll look like we're landing with the toggle replay mode. Yeah, close that. That's good. Now we can put the replay mode in. Otherwise, it looks like we're landing with the door open. From about, it's too close in. From there, that'll do. Slow play. Outside view. That's a pretty reasonable view there. Right, let's watch it as it comes in here. Hey Bill, nice to see you again. Yep, another one. It's me getting up early in the day. Well, not early in the day, but recording in the mornings is a bit easier actually at the moment. So I'm recording at a different time to usual. That is not an aircraft in the runway. That's replay mode doing that. How was the landing? Pretty good. Pretty good. Jolly. Well, there we go. We're at Leros, the Greek island of Leros. And, a nice bit of reflection in the background. That'll make a good screenshot, won't it? I'll see you all, hopefully, for my next video. And tonight is Sabre Sundays in DCS. So we'll be flying the F-86 this evening. Hopefully I may live stream that as well. Thanks for joining me. Have a lovely day.